Dear viewers, welcome again to the analysis of UDA TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. How many people remember this Huduma number crisis? When the government first introduced Huduma number, and that is UHURU Kenyatta's regime, Raila Odinga supported that plan. But back then, the people within the Tanga fraternity or the Tanga faction did not agree with that idea, and then they said that hiyo ilikuwa ni plan ya kutaka kuiba election.
Na wachache wenzetu, mimi nilishangaa juzi, na mimi na waheshimu haswa nikiwa Mkristo, nikisikia makasisi wengine wakisema ati hii ni namba ya shetani. Jameni, shetani na kujitambulisha inaungania wapi? My God, please let us not use the privileged positions we have been given and the respect that our people give us to dispel lies.
I mean, that is what was being propelled back then. If I remember this Huduma number vizuri, I mean, people are forced to, watu lazimika kuacha kazi hiyo siku, then you could queue for long hours, a queue that was not even promising, and then the courts decided to stop it, and then all of a sudden the courts again reinstated it, but said that it's not mandatory. So this Huduma number has been from the RUTO's faction, denouncing what Uhuru Kenyatta was doing back then, but the biggest shock of a century is that the Kenya Kwanza government has decided to bring it back.
Looking forward to our commitment that in the next 6 months we will have 5,000 government services available on the digital space. Already, just to put it in context, we had 300 government services as of 2 weeks ago. We have increased that to 600. We have doubled in the last 2 weeks. We now have 600 government services available online. And we are well on course in ensuring that we have 5,000 government services in the next 6 months. And I have also asked the Ministry of ICT to also work on a digital identity so that the big Huduma thing that never was, we can finally have as Kenya a digital identity. And I have told my good friend Eliud that by the end of this year, Kenyans must be able to identify themselves digitally. It is not the work of government to issue IDs. It is the work of government to identify Kenyans.
So the question that I beg to ask is, what were they thinking back then when they denounced it? And what are they thinking now? Because however much you try to rename it, like, say digitization of anything, but the fact remains that it is the same Huduma number. Of course, we've known lately, we've seen lately that the Kenya Kwanza government have been trying to undo Uhuru projects and rebrand them with other names, but again, at the end of the day, they are always the same things that bring down. Like, I could go back to the Kazi Mtani. It was replaced with Kazi ya Mazingira. It is the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Mtani Mazingira is the same thing. So this Huduma number also is the same thing. Digitizing Kenyans and, saying that Kenyans will be digitally identified, and the Huduma number thing, it is just one and the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. I remember back then when Raila Odinga supported that move, and Pakali, I think there's a role he played when this was being launched. But I think RUTO skipped that launching. But that was political, we know back then. But why is Kenya Kwanza bringing it back? What have they realized that is so important about this Huduma, about the national citizen digitization? I think Huduma number sought to bring like you having one ID to represent all other things, because literally these days you have a national ID, you go to NHF, you have an NHF number, you go to NSF, you have an NSF number, PSR number, you have so many numbers until Kenyans are confused. So the Huduma number is going to solve this problem of having numerous numbers which you can't even remember. But if you remember a Huduma number, just like you can remember your national ID number, then Huduma number would be like a one-stop shop for everything, ladies and gentlemen. So why is Kenya Kwanza bringing this back? True. I mean, that's why I remember the words of my grandfather when he told me that don't ever be swayed by politicians, that politicians are always liars. They lie about something that is not favoring them at a particular juncture, but once they climb that ladder, then they'll definitely support that thing that they denounce. I think this is what we are experiencing with the Kenya Kwanza government right now. Most of the projects that they denounced, they are supporting now, but they are renaming them, or rather, they are rebranding them so that you can see that it's something new. I totally disagree with the president now.
Na wachache wenzetu, mimi nilishangaa juzi, na mimi na waheshimu, haswa nikiwa Mkristo, nikisikia makasisi wengine wakisema ati hii ni namba ya shetani. Jameni, shetani na kujitambulisha inaungania wapi? My God, please let us not use the privileged positions we have been given and the respect that our people give us to dispel lies, right? This is supposed to improve our ability to provide Kenyans with a service that they truly deserve and desire. Jameni, tafadhali. Yeah? Na mimi nasema hivyo kwa heshima kubwa sana. Wengine wameenda sijui ati ukienda kujiandikisha utatoa damu